Okay, let's dive into this. And I think I want to kick this off. I was thinking for a little bit, and I want to kick this off with this movie might be misunderstood. Now, just hear me out because there's a lot of things I initially cringed for, and some of it is kind of a guilty pleasure, and I'll explain that in depth. If you're new to this channel, two things I want to say. I have raw videos where we analyze new stuff, kind of a first impression review, and we take a look at clips. That's what you're watching now. And then I have about one a month currently, highly edited, highly polished videos that are like mini documentaries. Very proud of them. If you're new, check them out. There's a few thumbnails on the screen. They're called Flaw vs. All Reviews. You can find links down below. And don't forget Doomsday Kingdom, issue number 5 and 6, out for the very first time, physical form. Pre-orders open now. Close at the end of February, maybe first week in March, but I have a separate video for that, so check that out. Now, let's go straight into Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. This thing is a requel of sorts. They're forgetting a couple of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and they're kicking this off. And a number one thing I heard was it's anti-woke, and I'm sorry, it's woke quotes. It's a catch-all phrase, you know, and it doesn't work all the time, but it's a way for us to communicate. But it's woke, it's anti-gun, it has has a bunch of rich, what would even be the word for it? People trying to gentrify, did I say that right? This old Texan town where they're going to go in. That was one of my biggest problems initially in the beginning, because that's a huge plot hole where I'm sure plenty of us had this idea to just build your own little community, you know? And it's not going to work, though, because when they go out in the middle of this town, just real quick, in order for people to be able to, you know, buy those buildings and sustain themselves, they need customers, because some of them are open up bakeries and stores and restaurants. When you need customers, those customers need money to keep you in business, and they need money to live there and then spend the money there. That's how the economy works. What do they need in order to make money? Production. They need jobs. So unless all of them are going to work on the internet, what are they going to do for jobs? It's an old town that has nothing. It doesn't look like it even has any natural resources. Some of the natural resources in the olden days looks like slaughterhouses. They're all shut down. That's dead and gone. So what are you going to do for production? It'll never sustain itself again unless everyone moving here has this self-sustaining online business, which just does not make any sense. Anyway, that's one of the biggest plot holes, and they never rectify that. But I don't think this movie takes itself too seriously. Right in the very beginning, we see this odd mix of lead characters who are not what you would normally see as leads. Like, let's take a look at... Oh, I didn't save the picture, did I? Ooh, I should have saved that picture. There's a picture of Jessica Biel from the remake in 2003, I think, and whoo, oh, she is smoking. Well, that was a big flaw in a lot of older movies where they would just hire models, you know, people that are way too gorgeous. Everyone's friggin' a model. And but now they corrected where we're just watching a bunch of potato sacks, you know, a bunch of dumpy people walking around. Maybe not all of them. I don't want to, you know, cast everybody in that light, but our two main leads are kind of like, one looks like the collective pissed off face of Twitter standing on her moral high ground, and that's the girl here, where this guy gets out of his truck. Let me see, you guys even have some sound. Look at this guy. And of course she's got something to say, and this is where the anti-gun message, I believe with some certainty comes into play, where she's like, oh, this guy's got to have small penis syndrome because he's got to carry a gun around. Who would think of doing such a thing? I'm sure people like this exist. Like, if you live your whole life in an area that has, you know, gun bans and shit like that, and then you go out to populations that open carry, that are proud, that have wildlife, and it's a way of life. even some families passing down guns from generation to generation. I think it's fine if a person is, if you personally do not agree with it, do not carry a weapon, your own personal shit, but don't push it on to others. Same thing for people with guns. Go and practice gun safety, do whatever you want. You don't need to go and scream at someone who doesn't like guns to, you little bitch, carry a gun around. No, because chances are they're going to wound one of us. You know what I mean? Leave them alone. Everyone just needs, I think, in order to fix the world, everyone just needs to leave each other the hell alone. I don't have to think like you or feel like you. Just shut up and live your life. Oh, I cut you off there. Yeah, she right here. She's like, I mean, is she compensating? Is he compensating for something? I'm mentioning that not because I even give a shit that she cares or that the movie cares to put this in there, but the simple fact that this is one of the two main lead characters, and she's annoying, obnoxious, judgmental. I made a comment on Facebook, and someone was like, I didn't get that at all, and I just ignored it because she's factually judgmental in, what are we, 3 minutes into the movie? You know, she sees a guy she doesn't know, and she's like, look at him and his small little dick. I bet he's got, he's insecure a little bit. That is factually judgmental. Objectively. That's not a subjective thing. He wasn't annoying her or yada, yada, yada. She just came. That's a lead. Again, the gun thing is just the icing on the cake. The cake is the fact that that's your lead, and that's how you introduce her. Go back and watch Texas Chainsaw. I think she's an overlooked and underrated final girl, Jessica Biel. Fantastic. She was caring. She was sympathetic. She was the one who was against, breaking the law to smuggle a bunch of weed in. Again, I don't think it's a big deal, but you can see where her heart is. She doesn't want to get in trouble. She doesn't want her friends to get in trouble. You don't have to be perfect. And she wasn't perfect either. She was going to a party. She wants to let loose and yada, yada, yada. Again, you don't have to be a prude, but they introduced these two characters, this little group, as kind of like shitheads. These are your leads. Now, the reason I say I think this movie is a bit misunderstood is because they might be... I think there's two things that could be happening. One scene in the end, which I was dying. It is cringe-tacular. I'm going to play it right now just because I can't wait to get to it. And it is cringe-tastic. I'm going to draw this up because this is a moment where you can see it was filmed. I even titled it Biggest Cringe. It was filmed as if like this is the ultimate moment. The movie, though, real quick, in the indestructible chainsaw, the chainsaw gets shot multiple times, thrown at a car. I've used a chainsaw in real life for a job. Give me a break, Anyhow, and this chainsaw is old. He buries it out of a wall. You could tell someone who's never even held a chainsaw before is like, yeah, that'll work. But the chainsaw goes through wood, bodies, bones, metal like butter. Never one problem. Doesn't pop a chain. No issues. No stress, tension like butter. Doesn't pinch or anything. Anyway, it goes through metal and it looks like it goes through the sewer and shit lands on this main character. Even the show, and that's why I say I think you guys might be, hear me out, you might be misunderstanding this. The show introduces her as a shithead, and then, the movie, and then the movie shits on her head later in the movie when it cuts through the shit pipe, and it's nasty. Anyway, and then the very end, we'll get to it, but here's the biggest cringe, and I can see a better film with more likable characters. I could see this moment where, what's with Leatherface getting shot up as if he's bulletproof? That part had me because the original, and that's why I think this is a different offshoot. If you want Leatherface where it's like supernatural, just the embodiment of horror, unstoppable horror, terror, brutality, this is what you're going to get. It's satirical. It's not meta, but it definitely has this satirical light feel to it, even though it's drenched in gore. And I think that's where the disconnect comes in, because a lot of fans, even myself, I prefer the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise to be more like the original, grounded, gritty, gore-tastic, tension through the roof, fantastic. Anyhow, but here there's chainsaw sex, and I'll show you that scene in a minute. Yes, there's no way they were taking that serious. Anyhow, I can see, and this is what throws me for a loop, and I think this is why a lot of people are like, this movie is trash. I agree. On first viewing, I was like, oh, this is bad. The gore's cool. Oh, he snapped his knee. Oh, I like that. But when you're watching this shit, I can picture this scene. Like, this is a moment. The casting for me is way off. I mean, way off. It's just, I don't know. I don't look at this and think Final Girl. In my opinion, one of the worst Final Girls. Even visually, when you visualize a Final Girl. I talked recently about Scream 2022, 2021. I lost track. But Scream 5, that's not really 5 in the title. The requel. Anyway, you have one of the Final Girls, or the lead, and throughout she looks caked with makeup. Her expressions are off. In the end, visually she looks cool, bloody. I could picture her on a poster, and that could be what they were, that could be the beer goggles they had on. She didn't check all the boxes, but she looked cool stabbing the shit out of somebody in the very end, just drenched in blood. Here, does not look cool. Kind of looks a little dumpy. Sorry, I'm going to say it. We're all thinking it. Okay? Anyway, so she comes over, and this is fucking gold. She shoots him. Oh no, she's out of bullets. And then I can picture they really meant this scene to be like the moment, like, dun 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 dun. Yo. Twitter is mad. That was the face of Twitter. She is pissed. You have offended her to the max. Call your fucking supervisor. You're canceled, bitch. Yo, even comedies have a hard time getting me to gut laugh. A guttural, primitive laugh. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a dick. I don't know. I looked at this and I just lost it. The face, the look, the character, it doesn't help. Again, she starts out as a judgmental, obnoxious bitch, and it's all throughout with her whole whining about her sister. Is it her sister? The frumpy bitch in the back, whining about how you need me and do as I say, and everyone's a blah, blah, blah. Now, sure, there was a moment where she felt bad for killing the old lady, but she was also one of the ones who pressed in like, oh no, we're right, you're wrong. We have to be right because we're always right. Everything we do is right. That's the type of person she is. She didn't sit there and go, okay, you know what? Listen, we're going to situate this. Don't worry, relax. We'll get everything squared away. Let's look for the deed, because if I remember right, they were wrong and they killed that bitch for no reason. Again, the movie might be misunderstood because these people come in and they're, in a way, the villains of the story. Anyhow, look at this. Glorious. The scene is just cringe-tastic. Anyway. Wow. There's some of the better scenes. I do want to mention the bus shows up and slaughters everyone. The whole time I'm thinking, where's the emergency exit? Sure, for a private bus, party bus, it's not going to be like a school bus where it's the back, because usually they have lounge couches there. This one, it looks like they have a bathroom there. I haven't been on every party bus, private bus under the sun. I've been on a couple, but usually the ones I've been on, it's in the roof. There's an emergency exit, and there's also, if I believe right, there's like a collapsible little step stool. Get up, get out, done. Now, excuse me, this bus, apparently no emergency whatsoever. Jeez, hiccup's gonna kill me. So this guy, he shows up and he slaughters everybody. They got a really over the top, and this is part where I understand why long time Chainsaw Massacre fans are turned off by this scene totally, because this is a new avenue for Texas Chainsaw Massacre where it is overdosing in the satirical, and maybe that's not even the right word for it, but it is kind of, yeah, it is satirizing, is that the word? Real life in a way, with the filming it. And I know it's cringy and it's stupid, but people would do it in real life. The only part I do disagree with is once he starts chopping people up, there's people getting chopped up. And this is why I think partly they're filming this knowing they're filming a part satire, because they're like recording each other and themselves still getting chopped up. Like once the chainsaw goes on, I imagine it's yard out. You're not recording. I'm not recording. I mean, who's going to record? Some of them are getting, and they're still recording it, you know? And it's like, no. That's the point where, but if you watch it from that satirical lens, you're rooting for, Leatherface, Jabba the Hutt, to just chop them all up. And that was another problem. Leatherface looks like Jabba the Hutt out this bitch. I think this is what I'm going to use. No, I'm not going to use that as a thumbnail. So I'm going to show you this right now. Here's Leatherface, and there's Jabba the Hutt. And yeah, tell me, is that the same picture? Yeah. Leatherface, Jabba the Hutt. Come on, that's the best Leatherface face you can put on him? Get out of here. I do want to show you the chainsaw sex scene because it's more evidence that you're supposed to have fun with this. And maybe you don't want to have fun with your Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You're supposed to be rooting for, and again, the anti-gun thing, at first I was with you. I was like, yeah, anti-gun, of course she's a survivor of a school shooting, just like they were going to have a school shooting in Dexter, and school shooting is being forced into everything because we have to have social commentary jammed in there. I know, back in the day, we had it off and on with movies. Sure, it's been a part, but now it's like maybe every other, if not almost every. It's like every 4 movie is clean of social commentary. So yes, people are getting annoyed of it. They're getting sick of that shit. However, they go from anti-gun here to relying on the gun to protect themselves. So again, misunderstood. I don't think it's anti-gun in that way. This is somebody who was a survivor and a victim, and they were kind of, it's like somebody drowning and then not wanting to get back in water, but then going swimming just to get over their fears. Anyhow, so in a way, they want you to have fun rooting for Leatherface. And here's that moment, if I can find it. Some of this visually is cool. I don't know why they would hide their shoes from the blood. This part was stupid, though. Worry about getting out of there. Come on, here it is, This is the chainsaw sex scene, baby. You ready for it? This guy's getting lit up. I think I even went too far. Yeah, that guy is shredded. I should turn this down. I don't know how loud it is for you guys. So it looks like the emergency is in the bathroom. Fine if you want to do it there, but also there should be one in the main hall, so why nobody went there? So this guy, I think he's getting chainsawed through his body or down, or just, into his body, and then it gets to this. Yeah, that's a chainsaw strap on. Push through, strap through, I don't know. The chainsaw is through this dude, and he's going to take this gyrating chainsaw hips, and he's going to slam it into this girl. There's no way you're taking this serious if you're filming this. If I'm filming this, I know in a way that people are supposed to have fun with this, or at least that's their thought process. There's no way. Again, this is a more... I gotta come up with better words to communicate this, because it's not lighthearted because it's drenched in gore, but this is a way to... like stoner fun, get like a drunk fun horror movie. However, they don't have the babes. Where's Jessica Biel? Why don't I have this picture? Did I save it over here? Yeah, here's am I saying her name right? Here's Jessica Biel. Come here. That's her from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, 2003. Look at that. Where's that in this? And that's a part of where they're overcorrecting. Anyhow, so Yeah, that was one horrific chainsaw sex scene. However, now we have what is it? 20 minutes? Yeah, we're gonna. This might be a contender because this is the movie where there's flaws. There's clearly flaws. However, there's some where I'll give it to you. It might work to have fun with it in a way to laugh at the movie, to laugh with the movie. Some of these gore scenes are so ridiculous, it's almost like you don't wince. Like when he snaps this guy's arm. It's just too easy. There's too much, and then he uses the bone to stab him in the neck. It's ridiculous, over the top gore, but it's like, yeah, all right. I don't think I don't think I can show it because YouTube will friggin' age gate this shit. Over the top gore. Even the guy with the gun, who's kind of a bit of a dick, he coal rolls them. That's another thing. That's been in like 3 recent movies I've seen where there's always some asshole in the truck, a diesel truck, coal rolling. Is that what it's called? I don't even know what it is. I've never owned a diesel truck in my life, but I guess you rev it up, kick out a bunch of blacks, out the exhaust. I don't know. I don't know what it is, so I don't want to say something. Again, this chick, kind of the first kill to set it off, but nothing really interesting. But they call the girl Old Sally from part 1, who, in my opinion, trailer bait. Now, this is something I'm in talks with a few people, just different projects. Like somebody was talking to me recently about maybe doing some ghostwriting on a script, or doing script doctor work. That's basically where they pay me some money and I'll review the script and do some touch-ups, and it's all I don't get any credit for it. That's why they pay me anyway. And then kind of touch it up. Some people were even thinking about filming our own indie horror movie. And one thing I do push back on is I'm cool with using people we know from back in the day, 80s and 90s stars that are now not doing bigger projects, but it's something that's being overdosed in the fan community where they're just bringing back old people and old characters just to do it. Everyone's trying to one-up each other, and sometimes it falls flat. It's cool that it's like, okay, fans, it's cool because you're a fan and you're like, okay, fans brought these people back, but sometimes it's like, really, bro, Anyhow, I've talked to plenty of people that have like a whole list of cast members, and they want, half of them are like people that are in old Friday the 13th movies, Michael Myers movies, and it's like, well, half of the cast is young, so you kind of gotta mix it up. There is a project I personally would like to work on. I'm playing around with a script, and it has younger people in it, so you wouldn't be able to do something like that. But I think that's smart to keep on your mind, to not let that excitement and that trend get to you. This chick gets whacked. I think she gets slammed with like a sledgehammer too, right? How was she not torn up? Yeah. First off, where's the sledgehammer? I watched this like 3 times. I can't find it. Maybe I'm missing it. It's like they didn't even bother to include it in the shot. Probably a post-production little CGI just kind of added in there, like a little blur. That's the sledgehammer. I looked. I can't even find it. Again, I could miss it, though. Maybe it's on her? No, I don't know where it's at. But she gets railed, and this is the part where she gets the shit dumped on her in the movie. Like, the movie shits on her right here. I'm telling you guys, maybe it's misunderstood. Just hear me out a little bit. So they get into the bus. He chops them all up. We already talked about that. Here's where she shows up, and this gets ridiculous overload. I don't even know what this is. Let me move this out the way. And I do have to stop it every now and then just for the copyright. Her faces, too, constantly throughout. She's like running with the gun. I don't know. Sometimes I think the director needs to step in and be like, let's change it up a little bit. Just going like, isn't going to work. Then again, maybe I'm a dick. You seen her eyes? She was doing it. I'm terrified. Yeah, my eyes are wide. So he gets blasted. This is like the 7th time he's gotten shot. Don't worry. It's only a shotgun slug. Minimal damage. It's like getting shot with a BB gun, guys. I don't know what your problem is. He's like, ow. Watch this. Bitch is crazy. Grandma is nuts. And then instead of shooting him again, she just talks. Remember me now? Remember me now? There's a scene I cut out where she goes up to him and she's like, don't you remember me? Don't you remember me? And for a minute there, he's just staring at her like, no, bitch, I don't remember you. And I so badly wanted him to be like, I don't know who the fuck you are, lady. Anyhow, so this part, I think, again, was trailer bait. Definitely kind of cool how, I love when they do that footstep shit, but he's fucked. There's like, what is he doing? Leaping over those trash cans? Oh, of course they cut it so you don't know, but he's going to trip his big old fat ass. He's going to trip. He's got his mother's or his, orphanage mother's face covering his eyesight. He's not making it over those trash bags, but I think she shoots the chainsaw. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she shot the chainsaw. Now again, she's trailer bait. I don't know what the obsession is with bringing old characters and old actors back, but then yeah, it's not the year of the grandma today. This is the moment where I feel like the movie, the writer and director was like, yeah, you know what? I wish they brought Laurie Strode back and Michael Myers just fucking annihilated her. Oh, we're going to do that in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's going to be tough. People are going to be like, yeah, Leatherface don't fuck around. Grandma doesn't stand a chance against Leatherface. Because he doesn't just kill her. It gets worse, though, and this is one of the major flaws. Yeah, he just tears her open. He rips her open, man. So much for your hero coming back to get revenge. Oh my god. I'm so shocked right now. Yeah, and that's pretty awesome, though. Bring a hero back, even though, in my eyes, I'm like, I don't want this to be the survivor. Why couldn't this be somebody who came after Sally, and in between, and she had her own moment with him, and it was off screen, and it was between them, and, that way Sally can just be the survivor that got away. Legendary survivor that's gone. Because now she's just a dumb bitch who came back and got chainsaw fucked. Right? Wow, some more chainsaw sex. Yeah. The worst part, though, is coming up, because after he just tears into her, we get this moment. Are you dodging my chainsaw? So few people actually tried that. That's weird. Grandma! Oh, come on, man! How did you not first off break a hip, but your internal organs just got ran through a chainsaw blender? How the fuck is your lungs working? I mean, your internal organs, when they're shitting, they're processing waste, and it's literally like a sprinkler inside your belly. I don't understand what's going on. Your heart is pumping blood, and it's just going all over the fucking place. I mean, your internal organs are shot. Get the fuck out of here. Grandma comes back for the win. That must be some soft-ass garbage. I don't know. Now, she doesn't make it much farther, but that was a moment where I laughed, and it was like, That was just stupid. Grandma comes back for the final win. And I showed you the cringy moment. She gets the gun, comes back, and fights Leatherface. Too many slow down, flashing light. Remember, she was in a school shooting. She was traumatized. Some of that is like, okay, get over yourself, bud. We got the point. You know, all the slow motion crap you're doing is not working. It's not cool. This part I did dig, though. You get to the end of the movie, I couldn't stand this bitch. And again, I think a large part has to do with she's not very likable. There's a couple moments where she does apologize for getting the mother killed. But again, I think the casting is off. And I think her appeal in this is off. I just don't think it works. But I love this scene because it's a character I don't like. And I kind of was rooting for Leatherface to take maybe her face. And they do something else I like. They put the car in autopilot. The car's going to drive itself up out of here. And since it's an autopilot, she can do this back of the car. We don't need someone picking her up. I like it. It's a clever new take on, modern technology. Do I think autopilot would work in this bum-ass town? No. I mean, I don't have a car that could drive by itself. You know what I'm saying? But if I did, I sure wouldn't test it out in the middle of nowhere where they probably don't have any reception any fucking way. Now, look, who lives in this town? I mean, I moved to an area just temporarily that has like, tens of thousands of people in it, but still it's nowhere near like the city I was just in. Or even like anything close to... It's a tiny town, but it still has a couple thousand people in it. And the internet's like non-existent. So I don't know. There's literally no one living here. And they wouldn't even put internet lines in here. So I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, I love this moment though. Even though it's too clean. Same thing with bashing the guy's head in earlier in the movie. The guy with the gun. That was cool too. We'll do that one. Anyway. See how it goes through like butter? It should actually get to some rugged stuff. And the spine, it would only take a few seconds. And it would look so much better to have a little bit of friction there. Anyone ever use a chainsaw? I've never chainsawed a living, squirming chick in the middle of the street. But it's not gonna do that, and it doesn't look as good or as cool or as brutal when you do some sloppy, quick, hot knife through butter shit. But this is cool. Again, maybe it's misunderstood. I love that. One last thing I want to show you. The guy shows up to help out, and this is another thing. This is the guy that was made fun of for having a gun, but a nice little fight here. Ooh, but he's trying to fight back. I think this is the moment. He's trying to fight back, and he's throwing some good punches. Here is where it's like, oh! Yeah, oh, man. His last dying effort, though, is to pull out the keys. I mean, he knows he's done. He doesn't just go, well, you bitch. I don't agree with him taking the keys. I felt like that was slightly out of character for a character that comes off like I mind my own business and I don't care. He went over the top with the old lady, and I didn't buy it. Anyhow, he grabs the keys, and his last ditch effort was like, again, I think some of this might be slightly misunderstood. But this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. I had a lot of odd fun with it. I have talked about movies that have been guilty pleasures for a little bit. And I think this is officially one of those weird, I actually have a guilty pleasure towards. And I can say that because I don't like the characters, not at all. Not visually, not how they talk, not how they act, not how they treat others. Yet it is enjoyable because, first off, I don't want to say it like that. Well, she gets her head chopped off. The other one gets to witness it and has to, get put through that. And I am glad the one survived, because it just doesn't make sense story-wise for a survivor. Oh, and they do touch base on something that I think the writing, and this is why I partially don't respect stuffing social commentary when you're not ready to actually tackle it into it, because for a split second, they actually do something that I was about to respect, where they said she got shot up, she survived, and she's dealing with survivor's guilt. And she's like, yeah, everyone thinks I'm going to go on to do something great, or yada, yada, yada. And for a fraction of a second, I was like, oh, they're about to go deep. I mean, that's some deep shit. Imagine being a survivor, especially being like one of the only survivors or of a plane crash or whatever it is. Imagine the people that, oh, God has a plan for you. Imagine hearing that 10 times, 100 times, and imagine feeling like why did everyone else got to live? There was smarter people on there, better people than me that died in that, yada, yada, yada. And you feel like you're not doing anything with your life for 5 years, 10 years, and maybe you feel like it's never going to get better. Or you're never, like, what was the point of you even living? That's some heavy guilt to deal with. For a fraction of a second, they mention it, and then that was it. It's off to and that's partly why I don't respect stuffing social commentary in there, because you had the seeds to do something heavy, and you decided not to, because maybe you couldn't, and that's how I view it. Here's the after credit scene where he goes from this town, and again, that's another thing where, why is Leatherface in town? And it is a bit of a stretch, but they have him at the orphanage. It's a bit of a stretch, but still, it's like there's some thought there. And then in the credits, they have him returning. There's definitely sequel bait here, but he's shot 17 times. I don't like that. Not really, but he's still shot like 6 times. I don't like that, with a shotgun slug, too. It didn't look like spread either. That I don't like. I like a human, Leatherface. Anyway. That's my guilty pleasure. You guys put your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think about this. I might be in a rare category because I've seen a lot of hate comments, and I fully accept it if you hate this movie. There's shit that I think is so utterly stupid. Like I said, those cringy scenes I think are cringy, but part of me does truly believe the filmmakers either did it on purpose or they accidentally created something that is better than what they expected, Because again, the character that acts, that's a real shit character, gets shit dumped on her. And there's numerous examples of stuff like that happening throughout. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. I had fun laughing at this movie more often than with it, even though I love the gore. Maybe that's it. Gore, I love. Great gore. I laughed at the movie. However, the story is dumb. The story has plot holes. It's almost non-existent. They keep it super simple, which I don't hate it. So that's why I think it's digestible. I can tolerate it. Thoughts and opinions in the comment box. This might be one I would like to do for a future Flaw vs. Saw, but we have to get done with Friday the 13th. Halloween 2018 is coming up soon, as well as Kills, so keep an eye out for those. Watch some of the older ones. Those will help out a lot. And I'm really trying my best to do a gaming stream coming up soon. Not sure if it's going to be this channel or the Ronnie Hayes channel, but stay tuned for that. Discord links and Patreon links, that all helps tremendously down below. I'm done talking. It's your turn.